Hey YouTube, the other day I said that I would make a video about spreadsheets for how to actually handle and account for this lumber business, and I'm going to explain this whole thing to you. You ever watch a YouTube video where the guy starts off with, I'm going to tell you how to do this, and I'm going to tell you how to make this money, and I'm going to tell you how to, so you can have 10 Lamborghinis in your freaking garage. Well, at the end of the videos, they usually say you got to buy something, or they never tell you the whole thing, or they want your email address for free, which, is a lot of nonsense. I'm not doing that. I am actually going to tell you the same thing that I have told hundreds of students that had the opportunity to learn how to do things in project management. And project management is anything that it has to do with any kind of endeavor. I don't care if you're shoveling snow. It doesn't matter if you're chopping firewood. It doesn't matter if you're building the freaking Empire State Building or a bridge across the Pacific. There's got to be somebody that sits down and thinks about the money before it starts. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Now, I'm a little moody, I gotta admit, because my wife had me shopping and I came home and it's dark. That means I can't do nothing. I would rather die than go shopping. I just want you to know that. And before I go shopping for women's clothes, I would kill myself because I hate shopping. Now with that said, I'm going to try to relax. I'm going to take you in my office and I'm going to show you how to start setting up a business so that you succeed and you don't fail, or at least you'll know why you failed if you do. Let me just get this camera set here so you can see what I'm doing. It should be good. Yeah. Okay. A couple months ago, I made a video on how to make money with a sawmill. That video was just a little bit of an introduction. I was trying to find out if there was anybody interested before I went into this, because this is time consuming for me and it's going to be time consuming for you as well. But I think it's worth it. I enjoy doing this. I do this with everything I do. I do nothing without putting it down on paper. Either I draw it, figure out how much it's going to cost, and then I do it, or I don't do it, okay? Because I like things to be organized. Now that's just the way I am. What I'm about to tell you is something that probably a second year or third year, well, let me think, no, fourth year college student would know these things, or should know them if they're in any kind of management, okay? Now, I'm not here to argue with anybody who's got a degree in this, because I don't particularly care what your degree is. What I'm talking here, I'm talking to the common people, and that's who I feel I've got as subscribers, and that's what I want. People who want to get ahead and don't want to get screwed on the way up the ladder. Okay, so anyway, with that said, I'm not looking for arguments here. There's going to be things you're not going to agree with if you're a professional, but I'm using this for a reason, and like I said, I don't do anything without a reason. So in the end, you'll understand why I did what I did. Alright, so for you guys who are starting off, let me just say this. With this video, I want to explain how to price things out so that you know the cost of what you're trying to do. Okay? We're going to figure out how much does it cost to do something. The following information is to get started, is a get started guide for categorizing items that are sometimes neglected when starting a business. So technically you can use this concept, not the exact numbers, but the concept, the formats, for instance, on how to lay out any kind of business. I don't care what kind it is. Alright? But anyway, in this case we're talking about the lumber business. So the spreadsheet that I'm about to show you, which you're looking at there on the screen anyway, does not contain any elaborate math calculations. Now, I could go into formulas and I could put all kind of formulas in here that allow for time value of money and all kinds of other things, and you know what? half of the people that watch this wouldn't understand it, and the other half would find it boring and would be arguing with me over it, so I'm not doing it. This is just going to be very simple, easy way of doing it. And as time goes on, if you want more, I'll give you more, okay? So anyway, like I say, it's a straightforward way to include the expenses or costs associated with a small business, which is the lumber business. Alright, so if you notice across the top of the column, okay, and that's here, across the top of the column, I have things written down there, expenses of lumber business. That's basically the name of the spreadsheet. And then I have 4 things that are hourly, and then next to that I have 40 hours, 173.3 hours. This is a month for me. Again, I don't care how you've been taught to do it, this is what I do. And then 2,080 hours for a year. Now these are working hours, okay? You work 40 hours a week, so this is a weekly number. You work 173 1/3 hours a month, so this is a monthly number, whatever's under this column. And then you work 2,080 hours a year if you work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and this is those numbers for that. On the opposite side here, going down the column, okay, on the left column, you will see various segments, and I'm going to call these work packages. Now, a project manager who knows his stuff is going to want to say they're not work packages. Let me tell you something. I have explained project management to many people, and I'm going to start this off by calling these work packages, so when I get into the other phase of figuring out work, that they'll understand this better, because work packages are better understood when you start from the beginning with something, know everything that you see and hear on the project, and then know how to apply them. So that's what I'm working with here, okay? So anyway, we're going to call those things on the left, like I say, work packages. Let me just make sure we're at here. Okay, so we'll start with the initial part of logging. Now, there's other things involved here. I just want you to follow what I have, because I will hit on other things. For instance, the first thing that happens when you're doing logging is you have to acquire the logs. Well, if you notice, I talk about the logger first. I don't talk about acquiring logs. There's a reason for that. You cannot give somebody whatever they want for a log just because they think their log is special. And I'll get to that in time, so just bear with me. So we're going to start off nice and easy here. We're going to start with a couple things until you get the idea of what I'm actually doing here. Okay? So like I said, we'll start with the initial part of logging, which is the logger. Okay? We are using the most basic and time-honored way of logging. So in other words, we're going to have to do work under my plan of how to run a lumber business. Naturally, if you grow and you can afford to buy an automatic tree cutter, then buy it. I don't care what you buy. I'm just trying to tell you how to start off with this. Okay, I got to try to calm down, because I hate freaking shopping, and it ruined my whole day having to be gone. Anyway, okay, the next thing is the logger, okay, is a person. So if you look up here where I have this, let me just get this, I'm going to highlight both of them. Underneath this first hourly thing here, I have manpower, and you heard me talk about the 4 M's before. Manpower, machinery, materials, and money. There's nothing else you need to worry about except these 4 things. If you got these 4 things figured out, you can put all kinds of stuff underneath these and come up with numbers for yourself so that you can make money or know what to charge for things. That's basically what I'm after. I'm after that when you charge somebody for something, you're charging them a fair, honest price, and you can go from there. Alright, so anyway, we're going to come down here, and the first column on the left, we're going to put down logger. Okay? Now, a logger is manpower. It's a man. We're not talking about a machine here, the logging machine. We're talking about a man with a chainsaw. So the logger, say he gets 20 bucks an hour. Now again, I don't care about your wages. I don't care if you make less than that, more than that. It don't matter to me. I'm putting numbers here that are realistic. Okay? If you look on YouTube somewhere, or not YouTube, but in Google, you'll see that $20 is a fair wage for a logger. Alright, so the logger makes 20 bucks an hour. If you look over here for the weekly thing, he gets $800 a week. He makes $3,466 a month, and he makes $41,600 a year. This is all this is. These things are written out here because at the bottom of the page, you're going to need numbers, all these numbers to add up to something that's going to tell you how to charge for your goods. Okay, so the second thing here, and again, I worked in multiple states, so it doesn't matter to me what you put down here. You're going to have to research this. Normally, like in Pennsylvania, for instance, you need to pay workman's compensation insurance, and you need liability insurance, and usually you have to pay Social Security as far as wages go. There may be other taxes since I've been in business, things like vacation pay, if you pay that, medical insurance, if you pay that, and normally you don't get that in a small company, okay? So I'm just giving you the basics. Whatever you want to add to this thing, as long as you have numbers in here that can translate into weekly, monthly, and annual figures, that's what you want to do. This is just to get you going. Alright, so workman's comp. I'm going to figure that workman's comp cost me $520 a year. Now, this number may be good. It may not be any good. You got to do your research. The last time I paid workman's comp, this was basically going to cover a certain crew of guys. Okay, now it may have gone up, I don't know. But anyway, if I break it down by the hour, keep in mind, this is hourly here. If I break that $520 a year down into hours, it equals 25 cents. Underneath that, I have liability insurance, 25 cents. Underneath that, I have Social Security that I have to pay, and usually you match that with the guy. It's $1.25, okay? So all of these things here then that are under manpower, because it's a logger, come over here and you get numbers for them. The numbers for his pay is $41,520 for workman's comp, $520 for liability insurance, and $2,600 for Social Security. And again, you have to research and find out what these things cost. Get annual numbers and you can plug them in here and figure out exactly what I have. That's what you're after. So don't use my numbers, go find your own numbers. I'm just showing you something that's basically within reason. Okay, so that's the logger. Alright, so the next thing, what does a logger use? Well, a logger uses a chainsaw. If you don't have a chainsaw, he's pretty much out of business unless you got a good sharp two-man saw, and we're going with the chainsaw. Okay, so let me just say this to you. Chainsaws are fairly small tools, and they're usually not included in machinery. But we can put them in machinery, and I'm doing it so that you can understand how to include machinery and how to, put the numbers in. Alright, so you have a chainsaw. Now if you look way over here, I'll just slide this over a little. If you look right here, it's $550 there, right, for a chainsaw. Now you may say that's too much, it's not enough. Doesn't matter. I'm saying $550. So I break that down. First of all, I think to myself, okay, a chainsaw should last at least 2 years. This is why this annual number is only $270. So I'm giving it a depreciation of a 2-year thing, okay? That's what I'm saying a chainsaw is. Now, you may have chainsaws that last longer or last less than that. It depends on the people you have working for you. Nonetheless, the chainsaw price is there. You can put any number in there you want to fill out your chart. But for now, that's what I'm using. Okay, so with the chainsaw, I'm figuring it out that it's going to last 2 years. So I only need the cost of half of it annually. So you're looking at roughly $270.40, okay, per year. That's the cost of the saw. Then monthly it would be $22.50, weekly $5.20, and then under machinery it would cost an hour 13 cents of every hour that you charge, that you use that chainsaw, you have to be making 13 cents. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, does it? But look over here. When it comes time to pay this $270.40, are you going to have the money if you don't charge this 13 cents? No, you're not. I guarantee you you're not. Okay, maintenance on the chainsaw. Some spark plugs, maybe a couple other things, a rope, whatever it costs. I got a lot on maintenance here, $249.60, which means I'm taking good care of this saw, maybe too good. But nonetheless, that's the number I'm coming up with. For monthly, it's $280 or $20.80. Weekly, it would be $480. It's $12 or 12 cents an hour for every hour that chainsaw is in your possession. So in other words, when you open for business in the morning, somebody better be paying for that chainsaw. So it has to be included in whatever you're doing when it comes to cutting wood. All right? So that's important that you understand that. All these things have to be paid for that I'm going to list here. And the only way to pay for them is to charge for them. All right, the fuel cost. Fuel cost for the chainsaw. Again, I'm only guessing at this with my little saw. If you have something bigger, it may cost a lot more. $1.50 an hour, I'm saying, for the chainsaw. Now that might be way overboard. It might be not enough. You have to figure out what your chainsaw uses. Anyway, it ends up $60 a week, $259 a month, and $3,120 a year for gas for a chainsaw. Now, I did not check over all my numbers. If I'm wrong somewhere, don't be afraid to point it out to me. Don't tell me how to multiply. Just tell me that the number's wrong and I'll check it myself. That's all I'm asking. Okay, then we have depreciation. So what is depreciation? Well, as time goes on, this chainsaw is going to be worth less and less because you're using it more and more. So in my mind, a chainsaw is worth nothing in the end, opposed to a heavy piece of equipment like a bulldozer. If I use it for 10,000 hours, I still have a salvage value on that thing. I might be able to sell it for scrap for 5,000 bucks. Now, a chainsaw, you may be able to get away with selling it when you're done. I don't know. But to me, a chainsaw is sort of like a razor. You use them because you have to, and when you're done, you throw them in the garbage. That's how I'm looking at the chainsaw. But remember, if you can make your chainsaw last longer than 2 years, if you take good care of your chainsaw, if you sell your chainsaw and get money for it, you are doing better than what this list is. This list is the minor things that you have to remember. Okay, so 13 cents an hour for depreciation. Check that out with the price of the saw. I'm matching that. In other words, I'm saying that this saw depreciates as fast as I use it. But I want to have money to get a new saw when I'm all done. That's what I'm after. So in other words, if I use this saw for 2 years and I can't afford another saw, obviously I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't charge enough money. And also you have to do this. You need to take money, like say this chainsaw money. 13 cents, 12 cents, not the $1.50 because that's going to be for fuel and you'll always have that. But the depreciation, if you have maintenance costs, then that money comes out of here. But otherwise, this money should be being put in the bank, except for the fuel and the maintenance. But you want to hang on to maintenance until you need to buy stuff. So you need to be savvy when it comes to money. You don't take this money just because you earned it this week and go buy yourself a new iPhone. You take this money and you put it in the bank. You get an account. And you can put in the account, call it maintenance, call it depreciation. I don't care what you call it. Just get the money away from your hands, away from your wife or your secretary or whoever's looking at it. Get it away from them and put it away so that you have it when the chainsaw breaks. Comprendi? When the chainsaw breaks, you need to have this money. And hopefully the chainsaw lasts long enough that you have enough to buy another one. Okay, so anyway, that's how you would do that. Now let's go down here. Now I'm calling this next one a skidder. Now most of you guys who've worked with any kind of lumber know what a skidder is. And if you don't, a skidder is a machine that goes in the woods after the logger cuts the tree down with the chainsaw, and he bucks it and cuts the branches off. The skidder takes the log and puts it on a pile somewhere. Okay, that's what he does. So we have the skidder. Now if you look here. For a skidder, I've only got $10,000. Now, a lot of you guys are going to say, oh, you can't buy a skidder for $10,000. You're right, but this is a 1 or 2 or 3 man operation. I'm not buying no $150,000 skidder. I'm buying something used. As far as I'm concerned, you can buy a Ford backhoe used for this kind of money that will skid logs for you. It ain't the best way of doing it, but I would never buy a brand new skidder unless I had an entire state forest to clear. Okay, if I had enough, If I had a huge contract, then I would go get that. But if I'm starting off like what you see me doing here, these are the numbers I'm sticking with. All right, so anyway, you break that down. I'm figuring that a skidder that for that kind of money with my mechanical advantage, I might be able to keep it for 3 years. Okay, so that's why you have around roughly 1/3 of $1,000. So you got $3,000 here a year, $300 a month, $71 a week, and $1.60 an hour for the skidder. Okay, $1.60 an hour for the skidder. Now that's at that $10,000 price. If you have a price tag on your skidder of $100,000, then you better be adjusting this over here and adjust all these numbers. I'm just telling you how to set it up and what to do with the format. Okay, so then underneath the skidder, we have an operator for the skidder. The operator goes underneath labor. Remember manpower? Okay, so this operator goes under that, 20 bucks an hour, again 25, 125 for Social Security, because sometimes liability insurance doesn't have to be put under the skidder. Although you want to check your area, check with your insurance company whether you need to have it or not, okay, or your business administration in your state. Okay, so this stuff goes under, like I say, the manpower. Then you get fuel for the skidder. Okay, you're looking at like 12 bucks an hour for fuel for that thing. Again, maybe high, maybe low. I don't know. It's up to you to go find out what your machine uses in fuel. If you're using like a little John Deere tractor that you bought or you have already, and it don't use near that much fuel, you're ahead of the game. But if I was you, I'd still charge this much because of the skidder you're going to buy later. Okay? You want to think about that. All right, anyway, and then you'll save that money. So then you have maintenance. Underneath this maintenance, $1.50 an hour I'm looking, and that's a little bit high for maintenance, but you got to remember you're talking about a very well-used machine for 10,000 bucks. So probably $60 a week is going to go towards some kind of maintenance item. $259.95 a month, or $3,000 a year just to keep that sucker running. If it don't cost that, like my Ford backhoe doesn't cost me near that once I restored it, but it did cost me I think $4,000 to restore it. All right, and that's, you know, for me it was okay because I owned it, but the point is you have to do some work to it. Now you could put a mechanic in here somewhere underneath maintenance. I don't have a mechanic in here because I'm assuming that as the owner, small business, you're going to be doing this work. If not, put some numbers in here under maintenance for a mechanic. Add his wages into this. Now it don't have to be full-time. If you figure normally a garage will charge you twice whatever the material, whatever the item costs. So instead of $3,000, you might want to put $6,000 in here if you know nothing about mechanics. Okay, just a little tip. Okay, and then you have depreciation. This thing's pretty much already depreciated, so I don't even know if you can claim it on taxes. Now, I'm not a tax guy. This is not about taxes. This is about you not going broke and having the money to pay for the things you need later. Here we go with 80 cents, right? And then it ends up being $1,600 a year. All right, so after we have the logger, we got the chainsaw, we have a skidder. Now we're going to need a truck. And again, I don't care what kind of truck you use. If you want to get a truck, let's go down here. If you want to get a truck that's a brand new pickup truck to use or a used truck, it doesn't matter. Whatever can carry the logs that you need to carry. Or if you have a trailer set up, good, then use that. Here I'm using $40,000 for some kind of a truck to haul logs. You can probably buy a logging truck, a used logging truck for this kind of money or less, okay? Or you can buy a brand new pickup truck for this, or maybe a heavier duty truck, probably not more than a 3/4 ton, but you might be able to use this money to buy yourself a 1-ton truck, something that can pull a decent sized trailer. It's all up to you, and you'll understand this once you start seeing what lumber costs and how you have to make things come together. Alright, so I'm going to do the truck yet, and then I'm going to stop this video because sometimes when it comes to this stuff, even I get kind of wanting to fall asleep. So anyway, we got a truck that we're going to buy for $40,000. We're figuring that that truck's going to last us approximately 5 years. Okay, so we got this number here. We've got this, and again, you know, you can put numbers in here, whatever you want. I think I may have added taxes on that machine or that truck, I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm breaking it down for about a 5-year period, because if you have pickup trucks and you've ever been in business, if you have somebody who doesn't care driving your truck, it can be gone in 1 year. If somebody does care, I've had foremen that wash the truck every weekend, which we required, have lasted me as long as 10 years. And those guys get good bonuses. But that's up to you. Anyway, monthly payment, how much you spend a week, what it costs you basically. Where are we at here? Why do I have hourly there? What is this? Money. Okay, that money, that 38 cents, now I know why this is 8,700 here. The 38 cents is for interest you're paying on the loan. That gets put under the money thing here. Okay, same thing with the skidder. If you borrow 10 grand to buy the skidder, the 19 cents an hour is under money, is what you're paying for the interest. Okay? Now if you look, these numbers might be a little bit high. I just rounded them out, you know, as best I could. But that's what that number's for. So in other words, let me go back to the skidder. So under the skidder, you have $1.60 an hour for the actual skidder payment. But then you have 19 cents an hour that you add to that to make the monthly interest payment. Okay? So that's why it comes to $71, $310, and $3,700. So do some math, do a little bit of thinking, and look at my numbers before you go writing comments. Not that you can't, and you know, all comments in my opinion are good things. I love talking to people. Alright, so anyway, let me come down here to the truck again. So we got $20 an hour for the truck driver, and again, if you can get a truck driver for $12 an hour, charge $20 and pay them $12. Okay? That's what you got to do to make some money. Now, you don't have to do that, and I'll show you at the bottom where I'm going to add profit in. But you can, if you charge 12, then chances are when it comes to getting the job, you may get the job. Okay, these are things where you can fudge a little, going either way. Workman's comp again, Social Security, insurance. Now this insurance is on the machine. Okay, maybe you're looking at 57 cents for the pickup truck per hour. Again, I don't know. You're looking at $22.80 a week, $100 a month, or $1,100 a year. Now, some of these numbers, you know, are from my particular circumstances. You know, insurance, and you guys who are in some sort of business know that insurance can kill you with the price of it. But anyway, have something in there for insurance. You got to pay it. And if the truck's being used for getting logs, they need to pay for it when you sell the log. Okay, maintenance. A maintenance item, 76 cents an hour for the truck. Now, a brand new truck shouldn't really need all this, but we're looking at about $1,600 a year. Like I say, you got tires in there. You got all kind of things that you may have to replace, so get some numbers written in there. If this $1,600 isn't enough, if you don't think it's enough, and you already have a $40,000 truck and you know it's not enough, put your numbers in there. It doesn't matter to me what you put in there. I'm only showing you how to get them in there and do some thinking. If there's things you can add to this that I don't have down, then by all means, get them written down. Fuel costs. I'm looking at $10 an hour for fuel, $400 for a week, and so on and so forth. Okay, licenses, 24 cents an hour. You're looking at $9 a week, $40 a month, $500 a year for the truck license. I'm talking about the license plate. Okay, so that's where I'm going to end with the truck, and I just want you to look at this. I'll leave it up there for a little bit. You can look at it, pause your video, do whatever you want so you can get your spreadsheet. And it doesn't matter if you put it up there like this or you put it on paper. Okay? Just get it in there. I'll make this a little bit smaller. I guess. There you go. This way here you can see where I have it over here in cost. This would be the chainsaw cost, this would be a skidder cost or some sort of machine. Again, you can put a bigger number in here, just make sure you put all the right numbers in here to follow that. Alright? And then like I say, the pickup truck was $40,000 or any kind of truck. You can buy flatbed trucks. I saw a flatbed truck the other day Guy had it for years. It was a 69 Chevy, wanted 3,000 bucks for it. The truck had about 800 miles on it. It was beautiful. I'd buy that truck to use. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But it's up to you. You know, a lot of guys like to have new stuff, and I understand why. Been there, done that. Alright, so that's going to be the video for today. Tomorrow I'll make another video explaining about all the other stuff that I have listed on here, because at the bottom, when you get to the number that you need to know about, that is going to be another whole ballpark on how you use this sheet. Guys, thanks for putting up with me. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.